Okay, so first I would like to acknowledge the Gamilaroi and Gomeroi people, who are the traditional custodians of this land, and pay my respect to elders both past and present, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples I'm addressing today. So, because I carked my ankle, I'm going to do a brief presentation, because mainly secondary might have heard this before, but it's more aimed at primary, about the Indigenous education programs at Cal Rossi that I was meant to do yesterday at the Staff Development Day. So there'll be, I'm sure, a few people, this was more aimed at yesterday, that were very keen to get learning. Monday, staff development, most of us look like this. I look like this. And I'm hoping that you all got the chance to eat some scones, which they were sort of very specially organised because the jam was native jam that I hope it tasted delicious. That was, I'm a bit devo, I missed it, but that was a special thing for you all, so I hope you enjoyed it. So, the Waratah Framework is a project that the school is a part of that is run by the AIS. Pretty much it means they give us a set of outcomes and we choose specific outcomes from that list that we're going to try and address through programs and workshops at our school. Mainly the program is about improving the literacy and numeracy outcomes of our students, but other than that, Cal Rossi have listed that we want to work on our engagement with the families, our current and future Indigenous families, engagement with the local Gamilaroi and Gomeroi people, and we want our students to have a strengthened connection and cultural heritage to their culture. So if we can meet these outcomes and show that we're working towards those, we get substantial funding from the AIS to continue to do so. If we don't, then we aren't eligible for the funding. So it's important that we continue to do this work that we've been doing thus far. So every 6 months, an interim report has to be put into the AIS to show that we are working towards or meeting these outcomes. So I did a report a couple of weeks ago where I had to undertake a self-evaluation of how we were going. Primary there was some mention of primary, but it was more focused on secondary because a lot of the evidence had to come from my own teaching and work with the 7 to 9 campus. So we looked at the literacy and numeracy outcomes, the relationship between schools and communities, and students having a strengthened connection with their Indigenous culture. So this is just an example of all the evidence that was accrued. So evidence could be academic data, images of students in workshops, emails, dialogue, visual evidence of, timetabling in students. A lot of the evidence had to do with the tutoring program that the Waratah Framework lets us have because they give us money that we can pay tutors to come in and work with our senior students. There was some other mention. I know Len Waters has come into primary, and we had some people from the Op Hub come in as well, and that was noted in the report. The report in full is available on the Indigenous file tile on the Hub. It's 18 pages, it's fairly long, so this is sort of just a quick overview of that, but feel free to have a look if you wish. So, the results. We got a seal of approval. Isn't he cute? So, the AIS said, you've shown that you're working towards those outcomes and we're going to give you the next lot of funding. So, the next steps. I like this gift because it's sort of, very... it shows sort of the rigour that we're going to have to put in to continue working towards these outcomes, because there's a lot of work to do, and I think that it's only achievable if we all work together. I know that Roz talked a lot about cultural competency yesterday, and hopefully I think David might have talked about having a bit more of a collective effort, but regardless, the next steps for the program include a school sort of survey and analysis of that data, and a lot more family and community, evidence of those sorts of connections. So I have talked to secondary already. The next step for me would be getting all the primary data collected, so I can put that in the next report, but that's not for a couple of months, and So at this point, just keep doing what you're doing and try to embed Indigenous perspectives in as authentically as you can. And that's it. So very brief, 5-minute presentation. Thank you for watching, and all the best.